welcome back to another episode of Eric's Camping Adventures. Today we are going to start looking at that old Jeep and see what we need to do to get this thing running right and stable for an adventure. Lots of things to look at, and I'm just trying to sort through what is the most essential. First one I felt I had to deal with was a leaky valve cover gasket, because there was so much oil everywhere from the back few bolts of it that I basically didn't know where the oil was coming from. So that's where we're starting. I have to say, I'm sorry for not getting a video out to you for almost a month now. And it has been one excessively hot summer in Oklahoma. And it kind of wore me out to work on this thing, video this thing, and then try to get you a video out. So I just decided to take a little reprieve from video production. So I cleaned up the surfaces of contact for the gasket of the valve cover, both the valve cover and the head. I then reapplied some blue RTV sealant so it was very visible as to whether or not it made it around all the different nooks and crannies of that valve cover, and then put it back on. By the way, it was very successful using a gasket and RTV sealant on both sides of the gasket. I have no leak. I was very careful to torque these down to the exact specifications that were listed for the valve cover. I went over them 3 times to make sure they were exactly where they were supposed to be. Valve cover leaks on these old Jeeps is a problem, and I just wanted to make sure that I followed the exact specifications to try to get this stopped. I decided to start here because this is an upstream leak, and if I want to rule out a rear main seal leak, I've got to stop what's coming down from upstream first. Next, I moved on to rotor cap, wires, and plugs. I really was aiming at looking at the plugs because I wanted to see exactly what the plugs look like, because they tell you a lot about the inside of your motor and what's going on during combustion.
A little bit of oil on the threads of that, but the tip of the spark plug is tan, so I like that. That oil could have been from the valve cover gasket, allowing a little bit of leakage down in there. So I'm saying number 1 is excellent.
If you're wondering what happened to my beard, it was 100 to 105 degrees most of the days in the summer here in Oklahoma, and the humidity was between 70 and 90%. It was very intense. I shaved it off so I could keep plugging forward on this Jeep.
I'm just going with 28 foot-pounds. It says between 26 and 20 and 30, so I'm just going to hit there right in the middle. Oil on the threads, tan inside, maybe a little bit of leakage down from the threads. Oil on the threads again, tan on the tip. I'm loving it. Hey, I'm okay. This is great. I'm loving it.
something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 give something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen.
There are some things that just make you happy, and when every single one of your spark plugs that you pull out of a 1993 motor has a tan look to the tip of the spark plug, that makes me extremely happy. Out of the back of the valve cover was my oil loss, and probably the spark plug oil on the threads was getting down into the spark plug access there. And but having a tan burn on the tip of your spark plug, hey, I'm liking that. What a hardy motor for 1993. So we're going to try to work on this pumpkin here. It has a drip on the bottom of it. So far I've kept it off my driveway on the cardboard, but you can see right up here, right at the bottom, it's gathering down there, and we're just going to do that gasket.
So what I'm looking for inside my differential are chunks, bending of the gears. I'm looking for excessive metal shavings or anything like that. You know, the small little grayness stuck to the differential cover is pretty normal. I'm just going to clean it up, put a new gasket on, and stick it back on.
Good morning, Chimblova Chrysler Dodge Jeep Drive.
Hi, any chance you have a parts department? I'm just looking for some parts for my Jeep.
Okay, just run it.
Hi, my name is Eric. I'm just giving you a shout. I am trying to determine the accurate fluids for the front diff, transfer case, and transmission on my YJ. And I'm just wondering if you have those in stock and what the weights are. It's a 93 YJ Wrangler.
Yeah, it looks like our fluid catalog only goes back to 06, so I'm just gonna hop on Google here.
I've been trying to do that and I keep getting a bunch of different answers.
Right, yeah.
Especially for the transmission, that one's not fun.
After confirming some fluid recommendations with the Jeep dealership, I also did some Google just as a secondary source to confirm that they were actually the recommended fluids. I did find some consistency, and I did what I thought was best. My transfer case is probably the most oily structure on the Jeep, and it took me some time to figure this out, but it appears that the actual breather tube that comes up just next to the firewall was actually plugged with a bolt. Someone put a bolt in there in order to keep water from going in, and I pulled the bolt out, and I'm hoping it breathes better. I'm not seeing the leakage that would account for this much dust stuck on oil, as you can see in this image. I'm thinking that the sealed breather probably accounts for some of this oil. If you notice up on top of the image there are some wires. Those are the speedometer sensor. And on this Jeep, the speedometer does not work. So we'll be fiddling with that on another video to get the speedometer going. The differential does take transmission fluid. I'm not going to tell you what type I used. I want you to look those things up yourself because, frankly, I don't want to be responsible if something goes wrong with your Jeep. I can be responsible for mine, but you look it up. There are some different recommendations for this that are not transmission fluid. I went with the dealership recommendation, and I did confirm that that was acceptable through a Google search. Doing your differential service or your transfer case service is a similar process. Make sure that your fill bolt loosens before you take out your drain bolt so you can refill it. On this part of the video, I needed 4 hands to use a pump to get the fluid back up into the fill hole. The transmission was a very similar process. There was a upper fill hole, a lower drain hole. Again, always loosen your top fill hole first. Make sure that you can get that transmission fluid back in, and then loosen your drain hole. This was quite a process to actually snake a tube through to reach the upper fill hole. So make sure you check that out and that you have the resources to do it before you get this one done. On every single one of these, I torqued them right back to the specs that I could find online, and I tried to confirm them through a few sources before I used that number. It is time for the last step, and that is the front differential. And this one was a little bit surprising. I did actually find that the vent tube for the front differential was quite low. It was not mounted, and it apparently had sucked some water in some manner, and there was water inside the front differential, and quite a mess. I was not overly concerned about the water in the front differential because of the low volume of use of the front differential with driving, as well as there didn't appear to be any damage to the gears. Yeah, the front differential is not engaged the same as the rear, so I was not overly concerned about it. After cleaning up my differential cover and the surface of the front differential, I reassembled everything, and you will notice that I have used a torque wrench on every single bolt that I have put back into this Jeep. I do not like the idea of drilling and tapping and putting in a new bolt. I'm going to stick with the specifications. I had a dad who had some old dump trucks. They were old GMC dump trucks, and he used those things for years without the expense of a new dump truck for his business all those years. And it wasn't until there was virtually nothing left of the bodies that he finally gave up. I think my mom made him get a new dump truck. I can only imagine, because he probably would have just bondoed it and moved on. But if you want your stuff to last, take care of it and do it the right way. Thanks for joining me. This was the first look over through this YJ Wrangler, and I'm thinking it has potential as an adventure vehicle, and I'm actually going to get it ready for one coming this October.
Hang on just a second here.
Sure. Hey, let me call you back, Brian. I'm on hold with Jeep.
All right, bye.
Bye.